Welcome to my solo version of the Patio Pondering Podcast. Today is the third one, talking about the attitude at the Fort Wayne Farm Show. Previously, we talked to Aaron Kuhn from Poet Biorefinery out of Portland, Indiana. And then we talked to Mary Heigl out of Kansas and what she was doing with New Ag Supply at the Fort Wayne Farm Show. Today, I'm going to kind of give you my idea of the mood. I had intended to interview a lot more people, but when I went to interview people, the floor was busy and nobody had time because they had prospects and customers to talk to. So, hey, that was great for the traffic at the Fort Wayne Farm Show. Tonight is football night. The Hoosiers are playing for the national championship, beat those crooks from Miami. It's the only time you hear a Purdue fan saying, "Go Hoosiers." It's been 29 years since I rooted for Hoosiers, and everybody knows what that was 39 years ago. Yeah. The thing at the Fort Wayne Farm Show, the WASDE and crop protection report that took place on the Monday was a bombshell, and it kind of acted like a pall over the entire farm show. It was the topic of every conversation. It was the opener of a lot of conversations, and frankly, I think it made the farm show worse because we were concentrating on what was published on Monday at noon. And as I talked with people about the WASDE report, there's still skepticism about the increase of the yield. If you listen to my conversation with Aaron Kuhn, we're trading at option here in Northeast Indiana. You don't have to go very far east of here, and it's 10, 15, 20 over. It takes a little ways to get to those really big negative basis numbers. So I don't think we had the yield here, but nobody asked me my opinion. And that skepticism, that frustration with the report just led to just a bunch of negativity, and the negativity carried over to some of the topics I expected to discuss. And that main topic was, how are we going to tighten our belts in 2026 after you, our suppliers, our advisors, our partners told us crop farmers to tighten our belts in 2025? What are you going to tell us to do different this year that you didn't tell us last year? And unfortunately, I didn't get many answers. I got the typical, well, we just need to get back to the basics and make sure you're doing the basics right. Well, if we weren't doing that last year, what are we going to do it this year? So that was disappointing because there's no clear answer. And maybe the suppliers don't have an answer, but I didn't get any indication of it. The other thing I wanted to talk about was biologicals. You know, biologicals are enzymes, live bacteria that are applied to plants to make them grow better, deal with stress. Now, I'm used to biologicals from the livestock side. You use them in the swine industry. We call them direct-fed microbials. We use them specifically to help with gut microflora, combat diseases, stresses. We've got times we use them. And we have one product that really works, that every pig in the country and just about every chicken gets it. It's a product called phytase. It's an enzyme that liberates more phosphorus from the corn molecule, the ground-up corn that the pigs and the chickens eat. And that does two things. Number one, it gets more phosphorus for the animal to use, so you have to use less in the feed, reduces the cost for the farmer. And secondly, especially here in the western Lake Erie Basin, it reduces the amount of phosphorus that comes out in manure, which is a good thing for the environment. So I'm used to using these biologicals and direct-fed microbials and enzymes in livestock. But when we talk to them about using them in fields, the difference is we can't control the environment in the cornfield like we can in a chicken house or a pig barn. I mean, if it gets cold out, like it's 0 out today, I can turn the heater up or make sure the heater's working in that nursery so that control the environment. If the wind's blowing, I can put the curtains up. If it's hot, I put the curtains down and turn the fan on. I can't do that with a cornfield. We get too much rain, not enough rain. We get smoke coming from Canada. There's so many things that we can't control that actually hurt the expression of some of the biologicals. At the same time, those lack of control probably give us opportunities to use these biologicals. But as I was talking with people, I couldn't hear how we could make the investment in these biologicals work. In one of the biologicals I talked about, it was a seed treatment that you put in place of talc. So you take a scoop. We would make a gallon of Kool-Aid with when I was a kid, and you put that on 80,000 seeds for $9 or $10 an acre. And I was going to coat the seed and make it get out of the ground faster, get the roots go down deeper. I buy the concept. I don't buy the economics, and I also am really skeptical on mixing an ounce and a half on 50 pounds of feed or seed that's not mixed. No. The other thing that really made me skeptical of one of the suppliers that I talked to, because I proposed this, I said, hey, I plant Pioneer. I use the full Pioneer package on my soybeans. The Lumigen product, which whatever it is this year, it's got the insecticide, it's got fungicide on it. And next year, I believe it's going to have part of the next product. Anyways, it's a full package. And when I asked them about using this product, a different supplier, on my seed, they said, oh yeah, it'll work. And my thought was, the product I'm using from Corteva has a multiple blend of biologicals on it. And your two are going to work even though they've not been tested together. Now, I've designed products for pigs where we took a shotgun approach. We used a blend of organic acids and a blend of botanicals to fit specific purposes within the gut of that pig. Different modes of action, different areas of action. It didn't have that comment when I was talking about adding it to seed. It's just, oh yeah, it'll work. I'm like, for $10 an acre, and I'm already spending $14 a unit, which ends like just about $20 an acre. So yeah, I mean, you want to increase my cost a third. And so I just couldn't buy it. So I've got some follow-up meetings coming. I want to use some products to make my corn get out of the ground better, to make my soybeans stronger. I just don't know if this is a year to try it. Now, the other area where I wanted to look was go talk to some aftermarket equipment suppliers to make sure that our corn planter is doing the best job it can. And when I talked to friends and suppliers before I went to the farm show, I gave them a list of everything I have on my planter, from technology to row cleaners to how we put fertilizer on, and everybody said, man, you've got the low-hanging fruit taken care of. The next steps, aside from tweaking some of those low-hanging fruits, it's going to take money. For instance, if we went to active downforce control with our airbags, we'd have to put in scales, we'd have to put in a controller. We're talking money. And then if we want to take the step and put up bags to complement the down bags, now we're talking about Delta Force and a big old precision package. That takes money. Those upgrades don't pencil for us right now with $4 corn. So we're taking the repair, optimize, and make what we have better. So we're looking at the new way to deliver fertilizer. We're looking at possibly hydraulic seed transmission control. Take some of the flop out, maybe increase some singulation. Looking at possibly putting on electronic row flow indicators for fertilizer. Not massive investments, but they're just making what we have better. And as I talked to aftermarket suppliers like Phoenix and SI Distributed, Manchester Farm Supply, CFC distributors, they had a lot more people talking about making what they had better. And that echoes what I heard from Mary Heigl when she talked to me from New Ag Supply. They've got products to make what you have better. And maybe better than what you could buy. So that's the approach we're taking. And it was mirrored in the conversations I had with those aftermarket suppliers. There was also, as we talked about the report, there was a lot of skepticism in my discussions about USDA. And frankly, the attitude was, how's USDA going to screw us with this next report? And that's frustration because people didn't sell as much or whatever the frustration, but lots of frustration. And the first one is the bridge payment. What are we going to get? Well, if you did the math, you could figure it out. Acres planted that you reported in 578 times the number you come up with, you're going to get in the next 6 weeks. But the next one that people are worried about is the March intentions and prospective planning report. And I think there's a lot of people that are expecting USDA to print a massive corn crop. And if that happens, it's going to be another weight on the market. Thankfully, we're using a bunch of it, and we can thank our chicken friends and the people that are buying it overseas that help in what it could be. Now, the area where it's really exciting for me is that the crop report and the way that the market crashed a quarter or so, it saved my customers $2.50 a pig. 10 bushels of pig for a pig to grow out, 25 cents a bushel, that's $2.50 a pig. So making a profitable pig even more profitable. And I'm hoping to see that same optimism when I go to the Iowa Pork Congress this week and talk to suppliers and pork producers, because pork and beef and chickens they're making money. And we usually can't say that with the pork market, especially when you're talking about winter marketed hogs. Usually it's a zero, a negative, or a big negative. And this year, if you did things right, you're looking pretty good with these winter hogs and getting the summer hogs. Oh, some projections I had looking at a $50 bill profit per pig for pigs marketed in June, July, and August. That's great for the pork industry. So I'm hoping to see that optimism. So as we close this out, my time talking about what we did at the Fort Wayne Farm Show today, we're cautiously optimistic for 2026. We got plans to make our planters better. Upgrades that we did last year paid off. I'll tweak those upgrades and maybe do one or two small things to it, but nothing major. We got chicken litter that's going down. We've got a quarter of our chicken litter spread. We still got some more, and this cold weather is actually good for that. We got decisions to make with our banker. We're going to have to pull some equity to pay some bills. That's just the way it goes. And as I said before, we are cautiously optimistic for 2026. And if we get a good spring where we don't have to fight Mother Nature for too much water in May, we can get corn planted and beans planted and be in good shape. So, as I leave you, Fort Wayne Farm Show was depressing because of the drag that the USDA, WASDE, and crop production report had. There's a lot of cautious optimism about profitability this year. A lot of question marks about if the Congress is going to step in with even more money given to farmers. And we just need to do the best we can with what we got as crop farmers. So that's my thoughts from Fort Wayne Farm Show. Thanks for the follows, the likes. If you're on Apple and you listen to me or you don't follow, hit that follow button. It helps the algorithm, helps get my podcast out to other people. Thanks, everyone, and I'm going to go back and see if the Hoosiers can put a stomping on those Miami Hurricanes. Boiler up, everyone.